lightning. Now, some of us are bitten by sharks. It does happen, like a couple a year. It's not a lot, but it does happen. So way more likely to be struck by lightning. I like using the peanut butter example, because if you also asked, well, Health Canada, can you show me a single example in all of our history, go back 143 years when Confederation occurred, can you show me a single example where a natural health product led to somebody's death? I'm not aware of any. And I've asked, nobody else has ever been able to point to a single documented death by a natural health product. Now, it doesn't mean there hasn't been one, but it certainly means that if it's occurred, it's been so rare that it hasn't entered our collective consciousness, so no one can point to one. But if, I said, well, peanuts cause deaths every year, that's not a surprise. Nuts, some people have nut allergies. Unfortunately, often it's children who don't know. I mean, at my kids, when they went through elementary school, you couldn't send peanut butter sandwiches to school because some of the kids are allergic to nuts. I mean, so peanuts kill people every year. Shellfish kill people every year. So let's compare all of our natural health products to peanut butter. Which is more dangerous? Peanut butter. So would you as a taxpayer support the government spending hundreds of millions of dollars to create a peanut butter directorate? To over-regulate peanut butter from you? Well, no, you wouldn't. But the sick part is that would actually make more sense financially. So, when you think about, hey, we rebelled, we demanded increased access, and we're getting our products taken away, they're not being taken away for safety reasons. So when we're told that we are, either they're lying to us or they're just out to lunch completely. I mean, when it's a scientific statistical fact that the whole natural health product industry is safer than shellfish or peanut butter, something's wrong here. But the real danger, and what Health Canada has missed and what a lot of other people have missed, is the danger of removing natural health products from the market. And a lot of us don't think about this. Well, wait a second. We've got these regulations that are going to take away 3/4 of our natural health products. That's all they can do. When these regulations were first published in 2001, I got maybe a quarter way through and I put them down and I thought, oh my gosh, the industry it's going to be a train wreck. Because it was so clear by the way they were written, they were going to restrict access. Okay. And we're seeing it happening. I mean, nobody who's still breathing and alive and isn't drinking too much fluorinated water, you realize we're going to lose most of our products. Well, Health Canada tells us, I think it's over 70% of us regularly take natural health products. So what was this, 33 million of us? So 20 million of us are regularly taking natural health products. Back in, 2003, they estimated, up to 50,000 products on the market. We had more than that because the industry flourished before the regulations started to bite. So literally, we're going to take away, 20, 30, 40,000 natural health products from, 20 million Canadians who are using them, many of us just to stay healthy, but some of us are using them to treat serious health conditions. So do you mean you can take products away people are using to treat serious health conditions and there's no health consequence? Can you think about that? See, I've asked Health Canada, have you guys ever done a risk analysis to show the risk of taking natural health products away? No. I mean, the only reason I'm here doing what I do is because I was forced through court proceedings to realize that some people's lives depend on natural health products. Like I used to think it was all snake oil until I had to prepare for trial and get witnesses and interview people and realized, oh my gosh, if this product was removed, there'd be deaths. If that product was removed, there'd be deaths. These are just products I was dealing with. In one case, there were deaths. Health Canada temporarily restricted access and there were deaths. At least that's my belief. Because people like the Canadian Mental Health Association was publicly blaming Health Canada for the deaths. I don't think they'd make that up. So, what are we doing? Like, as a people, as a government, what are we doing? Taking away people's natural health products without A, determining whether there's a risk in the first place, and B, determining, well, what's the risk of taking them away? Aside from the freedom thing. I mean, if you don't have the right to choose how you're going to nourish yourself or treat yourself when you're sick, you don't own your body. The state does.
Yeah.
I mean, think about that. If you can't decide how you're going to nourish yourself, if you can't decide how you're going to treat yourself when you're sick, do you own your body or the state? I mean, from a freedom perspective, it's offensive. From a safety perspective, it's offensive. And enforcement is coming. And cost recovery is coming. It's just going to get worse. And then we can't even forget what could be the elephant in the room. Okay? Because I'm talking about the Consumer Product Safety Act and the Natural Health Product Regulations. But what about these trade agreements that could be coming down the pipe? I mean, a lot of people come and say, Codex, Codex, Codex. Right? But what about the comprehensive economic trade agreement with the European Union that's being negotiated, CETA? Are you guys even familiar with that? Okay. Okay. So, well, it's important then that we're talking about it. I'm also going to ask somebody at the end to come up and kind of fill in the blanks who spent a lot of time on this. But basically, it really is comprehensive. So it's comprehensive in basically affecting every level of government, federal, provincial, municipal, and basically forcing up even municipal services to open competition. But it's comprehensive in also what it would cover. Now, if it's, at the end of the day, if they strike an agreement where they basically want to adopt the European food guidelines, or the European guidelines that would cover things like natural health products, well, I mean, they're Codex style. So we could be worrying about Codex, and here this other agreement that the government is actively negotiating could come into force, and all of our concern about the natural health product regulations could be moot. So I think it's very troubling, actually, that these things are being negotiated and we're not being asked as the public, well, how do we feel about European guidelines over food? How do we feel about European guidelines over natural supplements? Because I can tell you, we have absolute liberty and freedom compared to them. So, I mean, if you want to start feeling like you don't have ownership over your body, and the state does, move to Europe. Try to get vitamin C. Say, hey, I want 1,000 milligram capsules of vitamin C. Good luck. Well, you can if you go to the doctor and get a prescription. So, and then there's these backdoor clauses. So, you're all aware in Bill C-51, which was defeated, there was these provisions where government was defined to include foreign governments and to include foreign trade groups and organizations. And the Minister of Health was going to be given the power to basically, by regulation, adopt foreign laws. And our Consumer Product Safety Act has the same provisions. So when it says government in the Act, that includes foreign governments. It includes trade groups. And the minister, by regulation, can adopt foreign laws. Now, maybe I just fell off the turnip truck yesterday, but I think if you put something like that in an act, there's a reason for it. You're signaling, we're going to adopt some foreign laws. Why else would you put it there? So it just seems to me that the government is signaling to us in various ways, A, by negotiating actively and promoting these negotiations, and in putting these provisions in acts, that's coming down the pipe, and we're not being given details over what type of guidelines we're going to face. And so I'm just flagging that as another big issue that we need to be concerned about. It literally could be the elephant in the room. Now, I'm usually asked, I finish a lecture and people come and talk to me and they say, well, what can we do? And I'm going to repeat to you what I said in Nelson, although my wife told me that I couldn't. Get off your ass. Okay? Get off your ass. So, because the truth is, until you all start becoming activists, nothing's going to happen. I can't tell you, people are always coming up to me, well, thank you for what you do. But, if we continue that way, we're not going to have any control over our bodies at all. It's going to be clear that the state owns us, that we're just property. It's only when I can start thanking each of you for what you're doing. Do you get that?